appreciate it. So JD went over the rules that we're going to be following for the candidate forum. Let me just hit the high points once again. So for the candidates in particular, so you know how this is going to work. You'll each have 2 minutes for your opening statement. You can introduce yourself, whatever. That's a free form. And then after your opening statement, there'll be a question, one of our pre-written questions, and you'll have 90 seconds to answer. It doesn't sound like a lot of time, but 90 seconds can be a lot of time. Hopefully it's enough time to get your point of view across. And then we'll go to the next candidate. So each candidate will have an introduction and one question. Then we'll go around. And then I'm going to return in reverse order from what I started with, so that we're going to mix folks up just a little bit. In between, I might ask a couple of questions where we say, everybody here who, whatever, raise your hand. And so that's just sort of a palate cleanser, give everybody a chance to relax a little bit, and just raise your hand on one. So there will be no closing statements, and I'm asking the audience to hold your applause and your boos and your cheers until the end. We want this to be, there won't be any boos. No boos. In any case, we want you to hold your applause until the end so that all the candidates can, keep going through and get their answers across. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And our first, we did this by seat that you're running for. Kyle at large, District 3, and Miguel Zuniga is the first. So you have 2 minutes, sir. Oh, and your time is going to be kept by Cherie, and she has a card there when it's green. She has a card when you're down to 30 seconds. And
Is this on?
It should be on, yes, sir.
Let's check it.
Yeah, just press the green.
Hello. So I wasn't planning on being first, but thank you everyone for being here, for KBAD, for organizing this. I mean, this is a great opportunity to learn and ask the questions that you want answered. My name is Miguel Zuniga. I grew up here in Kyle. I'm a local person. I've been invested in this community, raising my kids, making it better for everyone, regardless of where you live, what party you belong to. I don't like party politics. I'm into this race as a nonpartisan. And what I'm really trying to do in my re-election is continue to move the projects that we need that are important for everyone at the local level. This is our roads. Can I see the time? Okay, so these are our roads. This is public safety. This is infrastructure. Things that we all need every day just to improve our economy in our city and make sure that everyone has great opportunities and that we're a welcoming community for everyone. Working with my colleagues, we accomplished a lot over the last 3 years. So we've got the senior center coming, Lake Kensington, water plans, master plans, sidewalk plans. A lot of this is very important. So we need experience to make sure that these projects get completed. And I will continue working with my colleagues to make our city better. So about me, well, I think I've answered all the questions. I'm a transparent person. I'm very honest about anybody who will ask me anything. And I just look forward to answering more of the KBAD questions here. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. And hang on to that microphone because you get the first question as well.
Oh, are we going to do everybody's introductions?
I thought we did one question.
Let's do everybody's introductions.
All right, change the plans. All right, we're going to go then to Claudia Zapata, who is running also for that seat, Kyle at large District 3.
Hi everyone, my name is Claudia Zapata. Thank you so much to KBAD for having us and welcoming us. I am also a Kyle resident, grew up here, learned to ride my bike on Center Street, had my dad yell at me, get up, you can do it. So I've been in Kyle for a while, and I was happy to purchase a home here in 2021. And while I don't have a family yet, I look forward to having a family in the future and raising my kids here as well. I am running for city council because I'm a person that has dedicated their entire life to wanting to serve. I believe heavily in being a public servant and truly making sure that we are fighting for working class people and working class families. And here at Kyle, that means addressing everyday things that are like bread and butter topics, such as addressing our roads, our sidewalk gaps, our water, and as well as making sure that we're creating a welcoming, safe environment for all of our residents. And I think for that, I would also like to say that, yes, I am a Democrat. I'm a proud KBAD member. I am president of Hayes County Young Democrats, and I also represent you to the Texas Democratic Party if you live in the congressional district of CD 21. And these are things that I pride myself on because I think as Democrats, we have the ability to serve all people no matter their background, no matter their history, no matter their partisanship. And that is something that I bring with myself into leadership on city council. I have a large, extensive background in policy development and rule development as I worked at the Texas legislature. And I also worked at the Health and Human Services Commission, specifically within the Office of Performance. So I have a very heavy background in data analysis, and I want to bring forward a breath of fresh air of data-driven decision-making to Kyle City Council. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, we're going to hold our applause no matter how great they are.
Thank you. Thank you, Claudia. And we're moving next to Kim Goodman, Buda Single Member C.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see you guys again. I met a lot of you at the OBJ event, so nice to put some faces to some names. My name is Kimberly Goodman. I am running for Buda City Council District C. I am a mom, a teacher, a nurse. I've been a nurse for over 24 years. I'm the chief nurse executive at Austin State Hospital. I serve on several boards and commissions for the city of Buda. I was born and raised in Austin, but I've been to Buda as fast as I can. I've been in Buda over 20 years, raised my 2 kids here, so I absolutely love Buda. And the reason why I decided to run for Buda City Council is, again, I'm the president of my HOA in Colon Country. I'm on the Buda Bonds Oversight Committee. I'm the vice president of the Buda Police Alumni Association. I've been on the board for the Hayes Council CISD of PTAs, Hayes leadership team. So I just thought I would jump from the frying pan into the fire. Why not? You know, let's go. So I thought when my friend Terry Cummings announced that she wasn't going to be running again, I was like, you know what, this is my time. I really want to do some good work for Buda. I want to keep our small town feel, it was inevitable. It's going to happen. So I'd like to, the Buda City Council and Mayor has done a fabulous job. We've got lots of things moving fast with traffic and growth and things like that. So I'm going to be a part of that, and I know that I can do it. I have a lot of leadership experience. I manage over 500 staff at the hospital. So again, I'm not a politician, I'm a nurse, I'm a teacher, and I really want to make a difference for Buda. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Kim. All right, we're moving now to Ellen Ernest, Kyle at Large, District 1. Ellen, please come.
I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be in this election. My name is Ellen Ernest. I'm running for District 1. There are 4 of us in this race. There, thank you. I am anxious to serve because that's been my life, my parents' life. That's how I was trained, small town in Texas. And what I love about Kyle is that it still holds on to that small town. I think for the downtown, we don't need to tear all those buildings down. We need a tourism focus, dress those buildings up, get a film agency here to do it, then rent those buildings out. Why me? I'm a boomer and my self-interest are already served. I'm here to give back and try to win that place in heaven before I die. I don't hate. I have a lot of family that voted for Trump, but I refuse to let that ruin my relationship. I also see a move by the city to sort of Dallasize Kyle, and I really disapprove of that. I also see us hire a lot of consultants who just say we're a bedroom community for Austin. And I don't believe that. So, I may have more time, but my yellow sign is up. I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. I have a master's in community development, and that's what I do for wellness. I combine health, recreation, and psychology to build a better world.
Okay, thank you. And you can start passing the mic down this way to Bear Heiser, who is also running for Kyle Seats District 1.
Hey everybody, thank you for the opportunity to be here at KBAD. I really appreciate it. As Jeff said, my name is Bear Heiser, and I'm proud to serve the city of Kyle as Mayor Pro Tem and Council Member for District 1, which is an at-large position. 3 years ago, when I first ran for this seat, my goal was simple, and that was to be a voice for my neighbors and to make sure that our local government was a reflection of the people it serves. In my first term, I learned a lot about how to navigate the system of politics and local government. And that's thanks in no small part to the support and guidance from a lot of people who are sitting here in this room, who I developed relationships with during the summer of 2022. There's no playbook for serving in local office, and I'm grateful for everyone who helped me get here. Now with that experience, I'm ready to be even more intentional with my time and my effort about bringing our community with me as we shape the future of the city of Kyle together. And that means, as some other folks up here have said, continuing to invest in the basic city needs, and that's safe roads, water, public safety, but also making sure that we're expanding our parks, youth programs, mental health resources to improve the daily lives of the people who live here.
You're good.
I've worked on all that in my first term, and I'm ready to keep going. But this work isn't about city projects or technical details. It's about defending our community at a time when state and federal leaders are trying to strip away local power and target people for who they are, who they love, and what they look like. If local power wasn't one of the strongest tools that we have left, the state and federal government wouldn't be working so hard to try to take it away from us. And that's why it's more important than ever to have people-centered, progressive thinkers on the city council. So with that, there we go. Good time. Perfect time.
Thank you. We'll move next to Paul Hill, who is running for Kyle Single Member District 2.
Hello everyone, my name is Paul Hill. You may know me from sitting over there and running the Zoom. I have been a member of KBAD for a bit of time now. I grew up in San Marcos, Texas, and when I graduated high school, I was like, I'm leaving, I'm never coming back. And now I live in Kyle. As an adult, I realized that Central Texas is a beautiful place to live. It's physically beautiful, and we have incredible.
Eat the mic.
And that's why I'm coming back. And y'all hear me better? Alright. Central Texas is an incredible place to live, and specifically Kyle has been an incredible place to live for the last 4 years, and I want to make it even better. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a hard worker, and I have strong work ethic, and I have strong ethics. And that's what I want to bring to City Council. We have a lot of projects, as have been mentioned, that are coming down the pipeline that we need to make sure that our infrastructure is fixed and is prepared for the future. And we need leadership to make sure that those projects are completed and completed in a way that serves all of Kyle. My slogan is fix our roads. And of course I want to physically fix the roads that we have, but that also expands to, we need to come up with traffic solutions. We need to see what roads need to be redesigned, or maybe a new road to divert traffic. I want to analyze our infrastructure and see how we can improve it and prepare for the future, because the growth is coming, and rather than digging in our heels and not doing anything about it, we need to prepare and we need to fight to keep Kyle's essence and to keep our small town feel, but incorporating our future neighbors. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Next, we're moving on to the Kyle Mayor position. And Robert Rizzo is the first speaker there.
Hello, KBAD. My name is Robert Rizzo. I'm a proud KBAD member, a fifth-generation residency of Kyle, and a three-term council member. In my time on council, we've helped improve our master transportation plan. We're investing $300 million in infrastructure. 70% of that will be for east side roads. We're building throughout our city. It's going to be a regional project that will allow us for people to come into our city and out and take advantage of our resources. The other thing we've done is take a big emphasis on our parks. Parks are an important part of our city. Our green spaces are protected and amazing places to be. We've, in my time on council, we've built 3 amazing parks. We're working on our largest park yet, and we're putting a really big element on habitat, making sure we restore those native plants and resources that we have there. Finally, we have a great city, safe, beautiful place to live, and we have made a big investment bringing forward a public safety center that not only houses our police department, is probably one of my greatest joys, is the mental health services that it brings, emergency management, safety when it comes to safety for communities, means all those aspects. I am Robert Rizzo, really proud to be running for mayor. It's a great opportunity. The reason you would run for this office is one of service. I have 30 years of giving back to my community. I'm really proud to say that I love and I breathe Kyle, Texas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. And bring it right down this way. Also running for Kyle Mayor is Yvonne Torres-Kale.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody who showed up today. I've always said the most important vote you guys can make is an educated vote. So it takes a lot for you guys to come out here on a Sunday and listen to us, and for that you should all be commended. I am a 14-year Kyle resident and a homeowner. I originally started off as a renter, so I feel like I've kind of battled both. I have 3 kids, 2 of which are enrolled in Hayes CISD. I was elected in 2020 and into 2023 as a District 2 representative. I've been a resident advocate since 2019. And what that looks like is just advocating for what it is that the residents want, voicing their concerns, speaking out, and being active in the community. Some of my hopes for the city are to be able to tackle the water and the wastewater issues, mostly our resources. Also the infrastructure such as roads and sidewalks, ensuring that the money that we have currently is allocated and correctly spent, so being fiscally responsible. I think taking care of what we already have is an important goal. We have many subdivisions without parks for our kids to play with, and therefore not giving the residents an opportunity to meet and just, talk about, everyday issues and getting together. So I think maybe adding to what we have and taking care of what we already have is a good idea. I also want to restore relationships between the city and the residents, building some trust and making sure that we can, as elected officials, allow the residents to worry about the things that are more important in their lives. Not that fiscal responsibility isn't important, but let's trust our community to ensure that our elected officials are spending wisely. My education background is I have a BA in business and communications. I have a master's degree in legal studies, and I currently work as a corporate paralegal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to change the rules once again. After all those statements, an applause from the audience. Thank you all so much. So these are the questions I'm going to ask everybody all at once. This is the first one, and this is a raise your hand question. I see I'm going to ask it. Let me find it here. Okay, talk among yourselves while I go through my notes. Find my question. Okay, well, the first question is, who here favors the passing of the Hayes CISD school bond?
Specifically the November tax.
Which one?
Right? The November tax.
And of course, it's going to cause a 12-cent increase in the tax when it passes.
Was it the past bond you were talking about? The past bond?
This is the one in November to increase taxes, the ACISD.
The Vader tax
There
rate.
was an earlier one in the spring, this is the new one, because the legislature did not provide the funding that they promised they would be funding. So once again, just with that clarification, everybody who will support the school bond with the 12-cent tax increase. Okay, there you have it, thank you. All right, we're going to move along now, and question 1 is going to be Miguel Zuniga. So Miguel, during the March KBAD meeting, you were censured for your support of Donald Trump. You said at that meeting that you stood by your decision to vote for Donald Trump and that you would do it again. We're about 10 months now into his term, his second term. Do you still support Donald Trump?
Well, I think there's a lot of context into that. But this is a city council race. It's nonpartisan and focuses on local issues. I think that supporting Trump, there was reasons for that. The economy was really bad. If we had a better candidate, I think I would have gone with our party. So you have to reach the working class. What was the working class saying? Working class was not being listened to. So do I support everything the man says and does? No, of course not. I will call out anything that is not right. I have a record of that. I have a record of standing by ethics and integrity on council, and I've always spoken up. I've spoken up since I was a 5-year-old growing up in this country. My parents taught me about hard work, how to achieve, create opportunity, and I have no issues with that. But I want the economy and the American dream to work for everyone, and sometimes it's not. So, of course, I don't agree with everything the administration is doing, but I still would stand by my vote because I'm a man of my word and principle, and that was a conversation that was used in a bad context because of something that I did to a partnership occurring behind the scenes. So there was more research into that reason.
Okay, thank you. And Claudia gets the next question. Claudia Zapata. You issued a statement recently addressing those who had concerns about your residency in Kyle. Can you explain your Kyle residency to anyone who may have concerns about your eligibility to run?
Yes, so there was a question that folks had about my residency, and I put out a statement that was very forthcoming and honest in that in the beginning of this year, I had some personal issues that I was dealing with, and frankly, it was in my relationship. And so I rented a small place with my mom in South Austin. I was there for approximately 4 months while my partner and I figured out our future together. But the intent was always to move back here home to Kyle. I am a homeowner here in Kyle. This is where I live, vote, pay taxes, advocate, and I've never stopped. Even in those 4 months, I never ever stopped fighting for the people of Kyle, and more so fighting for the people of Hays County. I am very proud to live here. Like I mentioned, it was just a temporary safe place while my partner and I figured out our future. I lived in my home. I hosted my kickoff party in my home, so many of you were able to attend and see that I do live in Kyle. This is where, I can't get dressed like this, without all my stuff being at home. And I'm very proud to continue being here. And like I mentioned, while I don't have a family, I look forward to being able to keep my home and raising my family here. So there's no question in regards to whether or not I can run.
Thank you. Okay, next one is for Kim Goodman. Again, this is Buda Single Member District C. Kim, what can we do to make sure Buda's historic downtown remains a thriving centerpiece of the community?
That is a great question. So I'm sure all of you have been through Buda's beautiful historic downtown. It's a great place to walk around, drink some coffee, lots of little shops. A lot of those small business owners are friends of mine. I really think that we should, my biggest platform is to keep that small town vibe. So I really want us to think about things before, again, growth is inevitable, it's gonna happen. You know, you got some new places going up, exciting. Roxy's is about to open the restaurant and all kinds of things like that. But it is in a historic downtown district. And it just makes me so happy when I walk through there and see some of the shops that have been there for a while and the buildings. And, you know, we need to keep that. I mean, those buildings are beautiful. It's what makes, you know, Buda just with the train track and the nice, it's such a beautiful downtown area. So I think Buda City Council, we need to work together to keep that beautiful historic downtown Buda.
Okay, thank you. Ellen is the next one, Ellen Ermis, Kyle City at Large, District 1. Ellen, in what ways can Kyle ensure its water supply is sustainable long-term?
Well, that's an excellent question. It's really hard to argue with the Wall Street Journal, Newsweek, Fox Business, and I believe the Texas Journal, who all say, we got problems. But I hear from council that they solve those problems or in the process of solving those problems. I also know that I recently put in rainwater barrels to save my rainwater, and it has been a huge help. Those plants love the rainwater better than the Kyle water. And twice we've scheduled with the city employee to come talk to our senior group about the rain barrels, but they just failed to show up. So there are no cost and low-cost solutions to so many problems that we face. I think that's it for water. It's a big problem.
Okay, thank you. And if you pass the mic down to Bear Heiser, who's right in this same seat. Bear, water rates in Kyle have increased this year by 20% for city residents and 77% for those who reside outside the city limits in ETJ. How can we get a handle on the cost of water in the city?
Thanks for the question, Jeff. Yeah, water is a serious issue in the city of Kyle and pretty much everywhere in Central Texas. The water rate increases we've seen this year are largely due to the cost of infrastructure to bring an increased volume of water here in the Arwa water line that is located just by the railroad tracks, a bridge that goes over 1626. So it's a massive water tank, and that, while it's not the solution, the forever solution to the water, to our access to water here in Kyle, it is absolutely a bridge to the future that allows us to further innovate in how we can reuse the water we have and look for alternative sources of water. The increases we've seen, like I said, the cost of infrastructure, it's not free to build the infrastructure. And, specifically for the non-city residents who saw the large increase, that number was decided based on a study that the city conducted, a third party conducted on behalf of the city, but that's where that number came from. And, it's hard for me to look at that situation, and I feel bad that they are being taxed, or they're not taxed, but their water rates are higher, but they also don't pay property taxes. And if they don't pay it, that cost goes to the residents like me and everyone else sitting up here.
Okay, thank you. And Paul is next. Again, running for Supervisor District 2 in Kyle. Paul, your campaign slogan is Fix Our Roads. What are your top priorities for how to improve Kyle's roads?
All right, so first, I know that we have the new 311 program, which allows residents to report potholes and other issues in Kyle with their roads. So I'm very excited that that is online, and I look forward to providing leadership to make sure that those reports are followed through on. And then next, we have the 2022 road bond, which I am very excited to pass, and we have those projects that are starting now. They just finished the marketplace extension, and then with moving forward with Project Sahara, we are going to have the Cello Pastrano Parkway, which is going to connect 150 down to Yarrington. So we have good things coming. And also, a lot of the road projects in the 2022 road bond are yet to be done, and I think we need leadership to make sure that they do get done. For instance, the 2016 road bond that was passed in Hayes County, a lot of the projects that were on that never got completed because they ran out of time or money or other things like that. So what we need to do is physically fix our roads, but also we need to be looking at what can we do in the future to redesign roads, add new arterial roads to make sure that we are diverting traffic when we can, and making sure that when new developments come in, they are taking some of the responsibility of building and maintaining the roads that go out to their developments.
Thank you, Paul. Next, for Kyle Mayor candidate, Robert Rizzo. First question, sir, is what steps you've taken to ensure that our local police, serve all members of the community fairly?
That's a good question. You know, public safety is something that I really take a lot of pride in, and we always want to have a great relationship with our chief and our police officers. Something that I always emphasize is that our police department works for the community. Those are the people that pay for those services. They serve the community. It's something that I highly emphasize to our police department. They are servants of the community. That's everybody in our community. Making sure that our police department treats everybody fairly is really, really important. Making sure that we are not creating policies within the city to target anyone as well. We have a lot of discussions going on at the federal level right now. It is not our jobs to be doing policing or doing anything that we cannot afford. Not putting that burden on our residents is important. Making sure that we're treating everybody equally. Look, it's hard. It's scary times right now. I know I'm Hispanic. I'm growing up as a Hispanic kid in Central Texas. I know what racism is like. It's a really tough thing to talk about right now because it brings back a lot of bad memories for me. But I'm letting you know that as a city, we're going to do everything to keep our residents safe and make sure everybody is treated fairly and with respect. If you're a bad person, yeah, we're probably going to come after you, but we're not going to be going after hardworking individuals.
Thank you. And next down to this end, Yvonne Flores-Gale, who is also running for Kyle Mayor. So Yvonne, the Kinder Morgan gas pipeline that runs through southern Kyle is one of the largest gas pipelines in the country. It carries over 2.6 billion cubic feet of natural gas a day. There's a Kyle 200-foot construction setback on either side of that pipeline where nothing can be built. During your previous term on City Council, you strongly advocated for eliminating that setback entirely. You still support eliminating the pipeline setback, and if so, why?
Thank you. I'm really excited about this question because I was highly involved with the landowner who has the setback. And my agenda item had everything to do with landowner rights, meaning this setback did not exist on both sides of the city. And to confirm, it's not a setback, it's a no-build zone. What a no-build zone means is the landowner gets $0 for not being able to build on that. So for an example, an easement, which the city obtains, they'll pay the landowner for that money. When I learned that there was development on the west side that was able to remove that setback zone, I wanted to give the landowner on the east the same opportunity. So removing that setback was actually going to correlate with the county, because the county, I believe, has either no setback or a 50-foot setback. So I was trying to A, make it consistent, and B, make it fair to the landowner. My agenda item did not have to do with approving any development that went on the land. That item, if the landowner decided to build on that, would come back to the council, and the council could then decide if they want to allow him to build. The same exact way that they're building million-dollar homes on the west, I wanted to give that landowner an opportunity to at least put some kind of YMCA or some kind of development on their property. And just to clarify, that same one sorry. Okay, so that same pipeline is less than 50 feet from development already. There's houses on the east of that, and those houses we measured with our own hands is less than 50 feet from that pipeline, so it already exists.
Okay, thank you very much. So after that first round of questions, let's go ahead and applaud. these candidates. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. So this is one of those raise your hand questions again. Please raise your hand if you have not received any support from the Hays County Republican Party or any other Republican group or campaign. This could include voter data, campaign guidance, event organization, promises of future endorsements, or any other material support. Please raise your hand if you have not received any of those. Okay, thank you. By the luck of the draw, Yvonne, you get the next question. So this is question 2. Again, 90 seconds. In 2023, the Texas legislature passed House Bill 2127, called the Death Star Bill by many. And it preempts much of the ability of cities to pass ordinances, and they also passed Senate Bill 2038, which allows property owners to disannex themselves from a city's extraterritorial jurisdiction. These new laws and others are part of the legislature's ongoing favoring of developers, removing local control and limiting what cities can do to guide growth. You want to manage growth responsibly, you have said. How do you intend to do this while the legislature continues to take away a lot of your tools to do so?
All right, good question. So I'm a big proponent of managing development, and the city council has 100% ability to do that when it comes to rezoning. So if there's something that comes to the council for a vote, as a council, you can decide whether or not that zoning is appropriate for that development. You could also use your city's comprehensive plan to tell developers, this is not what the city sees for our future, meaning, no, we don't want this development. So I think instead of looking at the negative, hey, we can't do this and this and this, because I understand why the state came in and said, hey, cities no longer have the authority over their ETJ if you want to get out, because I've seen development stall and cities not respond to these landowners that live in the ETJ. But what the city can do is say, hey, is this appropriate for this area? Should we rezone? Should we allow it? Now I see there's House Bill, I think 24, and that allows, that brought up the idea of protesting. So that's something that's never been done in my time in the city of Kyle. So you could actually protest and say, hey, we don't want this development here if it's applicable to you. So I think maybe in enacting laws that allow us as residents to say, no, we don't want this, and to create a procedure that allows residents to protest is something that we should utilize in our city.
Okay, thank you. And this next question goes to Robert Rizzo, who is also running for mayor. And Robert, you stated in the KBAD questionnaire that we need to promote locally owned businesses and make it viable to compete and thrive against chains corporations. What steps would you take to give locally owned businesses an edge against chains and corporations?
So I've been in commercial property management for the last 32 years, and I just retired from it recently, this past Thursday. Really excited about working with a lot of mom and pop shops. They were my livelihood forever, so I care deeply about them. Some of the things we need to do is to re-enhance our downtown. Our historic downtown is dying. We've got boarded up windows. It's about time that we did a heavy investment in it. Bringing in the right infrastructure that allow small businesses to come in and prosper, doing creative things. There's been cities in our state that have done stuff like small as putting in a grease trap to enhance and bring in more businesses. Thinking outside the box of the city to try to make sure that we're bringing in and helping small business. The other thing cities do is they bring in a lot of policy that puts a burden on small business. Making sure we don't do that in Kyle's going to be one of my top priorities. Making sure we don't add added costs. Small businesses are important because they're the mom and pop shops. Every employee in that shop has a name. In a large corporation, they have a number. So mom and shop parks are top of priority for me, and I'm going to make sure that we do our best to bring in the right infrastructure to allow mom and pop shops to thrive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is Paul Hill, running for the Kyle Single Member District 2. Paul, how might the city of Kyle better hold developers accountable to make sure that projects benefit the residents of Kyle?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think the best way to do that is reviewing our impact fees to make sure that when developers are subdividing their lots, that they are paying for the impact that they are having. I know that the city just raised their impact fees on the wastewater, I believe, from $10,000 to $17,000. And then the next is through negotiating development agreements. And I think that that is super important to make sure that we are getting what we need. And I, again, go back to this Project Sahara, which is actually right next to where I live. I live in Post Oak, which is on the southeast side of Kyle, and right now the land next to us is empty, and that land is about to be developed. And it's outside of city limits, and rather than the city just saying, we aren't interested in anything, do whatever, the city instead worked with those property owners, got a development agreement, and actually negotiated an even better one than the first one that was done to get the Capistrano Parkway, to get parkland, to get commercial land, and to get some city land as well. So I think it's through negotiation, through knowing our strength as a city and through knowing our needs and working with developers to try to figure out where our common ground is and how we can develop communities through engagement and through teamwork.
Okay, thank you. Paul, the next one is for Bear Heiser, running for Kyle at large District 1. Bear, an important part of your campaign for your first term was a commitment to address inequality in city resources on the east side of Kyle. Have there been successes here, and why is there, or where is there still more work to be done?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Jeff. Yeah, there is a lot of truth to what Jeff was saying in the spirit of this question. There were a lack of resources, equitable resources, I think, on one side of the town versus the other. Some of it has to do with city decisions, and some of it has to do with where development wanted to build, quite frankly. And if there isn't building on one side of town, like the development obviously is going to be slower to keep up, or it's going to be slower to come or slower to be built, because there aren't rooftops there to justify the need for it. With that said, we needed to have a massive overcorrection for the lack of investment, and I think that 2022 road bond, which overwhelmingly passed, did a fantastic job of addressing a lot of those needs with road infrastructure. And 5 of the 7 projects are on the east side. It's going to relieve a lot of congestion over time. Yes, a lot of them will break ground in the next year, and that will provide some additional strain on residents. But when we're thinking long term, it's going to open up a lot to give people a lot of time back that right now they spend sitting in traffic. So I think just as time continues to go on, we need to be looking at how we can build more affordably on the east side, high quality development, high quality retail, and those things will help solve the problem.
Okay, thank you. I bring the mic down this way to Ellen. Ellen is running for Kyle at large District 1. Ellen Hermes. Ellen, you've done a lot of work with the Kyle area senior zone. How can Kyle better serve its senior residents?
Well, that's a long story. We've had a contentious relationship with the city for a long time about getting a new facility. We incorporated as a nonprofit almost 20 years ago. We'll celebrate our birthday in February for 20 years. We incorporated in order to stop the destruction of the old historic city hall, which actually they called it Historic City Hall, but in 1912 when it was bought, we went to City Hall for a party. The farmers and the ranchers came together. It was a community center. It was an opera house. It had a stage with tiered seating. We want to see it repurposed as we move. We're working with Parks and Rec department. I serve on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. I feel our voices have been silenced. We've had a lot of turnover. I feel many of the boards are silenced. They might as well be cardboard cutouts sitting there, as are many of the people for public comments that come to council meetings. Sad.
Okay, thank you. Pass the mic to Kim Goodman. And Kim, you also get a Death Star question. In 2023, the Texas legislature passed House Bill 2127, the Death Star bill, which preempts much of the ability of cities to pass ordinances, and Senate Bill 2038, which allows property owners to disannex themselves from a city's ETJ or extraterritorial jurisdiction. These new laws and others are part of the legislature's ongoing favoring of developers, removing local control, and limiting what cities can do to guide growth. You say you want to end the agreements that allow developers to ignore our rules and help control growth. How do you intend to do this while the legislature continues to take away a lot of your tools to do that?
Thank you for that question. That is going to be tough because, again, limiting what we can do for the city is challenging. So I think, again, getting the voice of the people, and my district is the largest district in the city council, and they are very worried about growth, and we've had some very large developments lately with Persimmon and West Oak coming about and all of those. So I think we're just going to have to, as a city council, of course you've got to follow the legislation, but work together of what we can do to work with developers, because again, growth is inevitable. We're not just going to stop all growth. You're just kind of landlocked right now. So we've got developments to the east, west, north, and south of Budo coming up. There's lots of different neighborhoods that are in play. I know the city fought, about the Persimmon project, and both parties reached a agreement, and here we are. So now we've got this new roundabout and all kinds of things coming up. So I think, to answer your question, the city council is just going to have to do what they can to, growth is inevitable. So they are going to need to just work with their constituents to see what we can do and make sure we can come to a good agreement.
Okay, thank you. And Claudia is next, Claudia Zapata. About 20% of the adult population in our area is over the age of 60, believe it or not. How can you help ensure accessibility and affordability in housing in such a way that all people, including older adults, can age in place in their own homes?
So I would like to first start off and say that when I first started working for the Health and Human Services Commission, I actually worked in long-term care regulatory in the policy, rules, and training department specifically. So aging in place and aging services is something that I'm very, very passionate about. In addition to that, I was an anti-displacement project manager for a nonprofit based in Travis County that helped a lot of aging, especially Latin folks in the eastern crescent of Travis County. Because of this, I know there's several things that we can do to support our aging in place populations. One of those would be, I would like to see there be some, ease upon code enforcement on older homes, for example, and older homeowners. One thing that we've seen happen in Travis County that also happens here in Kyle is developers will actually call code on older residents who, let's say, have like overgrown grass, like repeatedly to try and push them out of their house. I would like to see some forgiveness for those older individuals. We also, thank you to Councilman Heiser, have the property improvement program where individuals who earn under a certain amount, most of those aging in place individuals on a fixed income, are able to receive small grants from the city to help improve their property to ensure that it stays livable. I would also like us to see us expand that program. I think it's a wonderful, beautiful program to help people. I also believe that a large part of it is also addressing caretakers for those that are aging in place.
Okay, thank you. And the next is Miguel Zuniga, running for Kyle at Large District 3. And keeping in mind the Death Star questions, Miguel, how can the city of Kyle best respond to its ongoing growth to benefit current residents?
Well, we have to look at it like, we want to bring in good development that's quality, that will bring in good retail, but does it fit in the community where we need it? So that's how we manage it with smart growth. That will benefit the community, it will create retail, it will pay for services, that would benefit and trickle down to our school district, which there's a lot of areas of Kyle that need that. So that's how we manage that growth. We are, as a city council, not able to do a lot of the other things that we would like to do, but those are not city council related things. We cannot fund them. You have to find the funding for them. You have to work with different groups, Republicans, Independents, Democrats. This is not just a council made up of Dems, okay? You have to work with everyone. We're in a country where you can decide who you want to vote for, okay? That is your choice. So this is not about a person. This is about our community, our neighbors, and each other, okay?
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you for round two. I guess let's give an applause for round two questions. Thank you. I have some great answers from everybody. All right, this is another raise your hand. So raise your hand, all of you at one time, if you support having a pride parade in your city. Looks unanimous. All right. Thank you. All right, thank you. We're entering round three. This is the last round of questions. So any messages you want to get in and you haven't had a chance, slip them in here. You still have 90 seconds with each one. And this goes to Miguel Zuniga, Kyle at Large, District 3. Over the summer, you posted anonymously online that a Hayes CISD teacher housing program would go to a preferred sweetheart builder and alleged that official kickbacks were occurring. We know that you were the author of these incendiary posts because you told us so, and many others.
Well, I don't remember all of that.
Let me wrap that question. So, do you believe that Hayes CISD is corrupt, and can you explain the posts?
Yeah, I don't even remember the post. No, our district is not corrupt. I think our district is very transparent. I supported all the bonds. We need to invest in our future. We need to invest in kids that look like me. Okay, I grew up in this district. This district gave me these opportunities to become a scientist, to help and teach and be a leader for other people. You know, I mentor kids. I give back in the education that I have. I'm very fortunate, and I want to see more of that from each other. So the housing thing, what I remember was the developer was going to, I guess, give like a different small rooms that were almost like the price of a rental home. So my question was, there's plenty of rent homes in Kyle. So why are we having teachers live like college students in a one-bedroom apartment? We could do a little bit better than that for our teachers. We could pay them better so they're not restricted to living into an apartment that's crowded for $2,000 a month and they can have a home. We need to do better for our teachers.
Okay, thank you. And Claudia gets the next question. Claudia is running for the same seat. Claudia, what is your goal for how policing in Kyle should look and function?
Well, as someone who has family members who are active law enforcement officers, and my aunt and uncle worked for the Travis County Sheriff's Department for over 20 years, I believe heavily in supporting safe law enforcement and public safety. I think it's something that where I know in this recent budget that was passed, we increased the amount of funding for community engagement that Kyle PD has, and that is something that I support. I believe, for example, in supporting things like Blue Santa. I was a recipient of Blue Santa growing up. My mom was a single parent, a teacher, who didn't make enough, and so without programs like that, I wouldn't have gotten, gifts sometimes at Christmas time. And so I want to see there be more trust built and relationships built between our police department and our community. I would also like to engage more with community members on what type of policing it is that they feel fits their neighborhoods. That's one thing that I've noticed in block walking and speaking with individuals who live on the west side or the east side or in Spring Branch or in Cypress Forest. Everyone has different policing needs, and that is something that I would like for us to take into consideration and somehow work out a needs assessment on that, so we can better and strategically use funds and use the current staff that we have. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. And we're moving to Kim Goodman. Kim, the September edition of Caldwell Hayes Examiner has an article suggesting that the Texas Lehigh Cement Facility in Buda produces more pollutants than any other cement facility in Texas. And that's according to data from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. Will you take any steps to work with Texas Lehigh to reduce emissions?
Yes, I think that is important to, for the Buda City Council to take that data, you know, I believe in science, I'm a nurse, so data doesn't lie. And with that, you know, saying, I mean, that's a pretty surprising statistic for it to be, you know, the highest in the state. So I think we really need to look at that because, again, you know, we want to look at the emissions and what's going on in our city, and we need to do something about that. So I think we need to have that on the agenda at council and make sure that we can work with them to see how we can reduce that. I'm sure there are certain ways, and I think that's very important to people because people are worried about, I have heard that brought up, just again, block walking. People are worried about that in Buda. They're worried about, you know, transportation and, you know, so that's come up. So I think that's something that's very important. I know we don't have a lot of time for questions up here, but I encourage all of you guys to stay at 5 o'clock because I am having an event here, and please ask me any questions you would like. Beer, wine, food, everything. I would like you guys to get to know me, and I would like the time to answer more of your questions. Thank you.
There you go. That's making good use of your extra time on that question. Okay, the next is Ellen Hermes down at this end, running for Kyle at Large District 1. So Ellen, there has been a historic imbalance in investment in Kyle on the east and west side of I-35. In what ways would you help to ensure an equitable distribution of public resources in Kyle?
The nonprofit that I've been working with for 7 years, Kyle Area Senior Zone, makes every effort to have no-cost, low-cost programs. We want to continue that. We were moving to the east side this spring. We're very excited to have a new, much larger facility. We also worry about the seniors in Buda. It's expensive to run a private senior association, and Onion Creek Senior Center is struggling. So we may be serving a larger area. I think it's also important to take a more regional approach, getting alternative funds from state and federal funding. The federal funds that we've gotten, even though there were federal infrastructure dollars available, all of the COVID recovery money went into the sewer. We also recently get community development block grants that were established under President Clinton. Again, that money went to the sewer. I don't understand.
Okay, thank you. This is for Bear, if you can pass the mic down. Bear is running for Kyle at Large District 1 also. There's a very small but loud group of people who regularly show up to city council meetings to complain about the direction of the city. Kyle, a good place to live for everyone, including those who are upset by growth or change.
This feels like a setup question.
They all are. They all are.
Every voice is important, and sitting, you know, one of the hardest things to know is what is real and what is noise, especially when you're making decisions that are involved with, you know, $100 million budgets on a yearly basis. And what is real and what is noise. And I know I knocked on thousands of doors myself during the 2022 campaign. I've had multiple town hall events since I took my seat, regularly out in the community, getting feedback from people. And that's pretty much how I judge what is real and what is noise. And while there isn't, sometimes there is validity to the things that people say when they come to council meetings. I'm a process guy, and so if you want to come and condemn us for something we did, well, let's talk about the process that got us in the position to have to make that decision to begin with. And that's feedback we don't ever get. So, I mean, if there's ever a time that we want to engage on that level to try to make systemic change that is for the benefit of the entire community, I'm down. But to show up and just, slap us on the wrist all the time, it's tough.
Okay, thank you. And the next one is for Paul Hill, Kyle Single, Member District 2. Paul, you have served on the Kyle Ethics Commission. How can this commission be changed to best serve its goal of giving the public trust in Kyle's officials?
That is a great question, and I really do appreciate it, because first I want to say that I really appreciated my time on the commission, and I really appreciated the work of my fellow commissioners. Everybody that I worked with, no matter who appointed them, was honest and earnest and was there to do their job. And sometimes the decisions that we came to were not decisions that people were happy with, but I think we angered everybody at some point, which is kind of a sign that you're doing the right thing, right? Like, I'm sure the mayor was unhappy having to have an ethics trial in front of the entire world, and I'm sure people who, filed complaints against him were unhappy whenever we found that there was no problem. First, I think the ethics code really needs a full rewrite. It is vague, and what people think is unethical is not necessarily against the ethics code. A lot of people think that the Ethics Commission in Kyle is a general disciplinary body for the council, and that's just not what it is. It's really there to make sure that people are not personally benefiting from their position. I think an issue with perceptions, the fact that people are appointed by council members, each council member appoints one person, I think that creates a lot of issues. People who are, judging the person who appointed them, that's a problem. And so I think if we could do a rewrite of the code and appoint people in different ways, that could increase a lot of trust in the body.
Okay, thank you. So the next is Robert Rizzo, who is running for mayor. Robert, you support the proposed Kyle Sportsplex, which has a price tag of $161 million. Why is this amount of investment needed in recreation in Kyle?
Well, Jeff, that's some misinformation. It's not $161 million. It's $21 million with a $5 million roadway that we're doing the outdoor sportsplex right now. The entire master plan does have a plan for a larger indoor sportsplex. What that looks like, we don't know yet. We haven't gone that far in design. Anything that we do as an indoor sportsplex will go to the voters. The voters will decide if we decide to do something. At what scale we do that will be up to the voters. Getting a lot of community input, information is going to be key to bringing an indoor facility. Right now, what we're building is an outdoor sportsplex. It's $7 million from the bond that we passed as a city, the matching from the county, and then some out of the TERS is what we're looking at to make the $21 million. We do have the road project in there as well, so we're working on that. I think the road costs about $6 million to finish off the roadway in the area. But anything that we do on the master plan is going to have to come from the citizens. It's going to be a project that's transparent. Every resident's going to get a chance to give their input and decide what they want to do. Do we need an indoor facility? Yes, we do. Our kids need something. But what that looks like will be entirely on the residents of Kyle. And that means I just want to say thank you. It's been a gift to serve the community that I grew up in. It's been amazing. It's something that I never imagined I'll ride my bike down the street in Kyle, Texas. But to run for mayor as a Hispanic kid growing up there, I never imagined that. There's only been 3 Hispanic people that ever served at the mayor's spot in Kyle. I'm looking forward to the opportunity. If I'm given that opportunity, I'll do it with pride and with a lot of
here. We're wrapping it up here with Yvonne Torres-Cale. Yvonne, you opposed the 2022 Kyle Road Bond, which was a historic investment in East Kyle's infrastructure. If elected, will you steward these projects to completion, or will you seek to curtail or delay the improvements that Kyle residents voted for?
Okay, these questions, these are amazing questions. I gotta start off with that. And I like how they've all been equally difficult. But the reason why I opposed the 2022 bond is because at the 11th hour it was changed. So originally when we talked about it, it was going to be old roads on one bond and new roads on another bond. And then at the last minute, Councilmember Ashley Bradshaw put them all together. Made a motion to put them together, and they were. And I wasn't comfortable with that because I wanted to give more opportunity, and I wanted to give the residents the ability to really decide which roads they wanted. If we wanted to take it a step further, you could have even done individual road bonds. So putting each on there. One of my concerns has been and will always be not having a focus on Highway 150 or County Road 158. So Highway 150 had no support. It was me, and later on I was told there was another council member that may have been willing to support it, but as I did many times on that council, I stood alone. With that said, I've always been supportive of anything that's already passed, whether it's a rezone or a business coming to our city, or in this case, the road bond. So my participation will be ensuring that the money is fiscally spent in the way it's supposed to be, making sure the roads get done on time, just being overall supportive. I would never go against something that's already been paid for or started by the city. And at this point, we just need to wrap it up.
Okay, perfect timing. Thank you all, and that concludes our questions.